Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you all how I did this rounded gold and copper cut crease makeup look. So to begin, I'm going to be starting with my eyebrows. I'm just filling that in using the Eden eyebrow pencil in the shade dark brown, and you also want to ensure that you brush them through. Next step, I'm going to be concealing using the Elegant Pro concealer in the shades Fawn and Espresso. So I'm going to be using Fawn to highlight under my brows, and then later on I'm going to be using the shade Espresso to conceal the top of my brows. So now that I have my brows completed, I'm going to be moving on to applying an eyeshadow base to my lids. This is the Plouise Rumour 3 eyeshadow base. So now the first palette I'm going in with is the Plouise Secret palette, and I'm going to be taking the shade Love Struck, and I'm just going to be packing that deep brown shade into my crease. So now that I have the shade Love Struck applied, I'm now going to go into the shade Obsession. I'm going to be blending that right above the Love Struck shade. Next, I'm going in with Bow Down from the Secret Sinners palette, and I'm going to be blending this above the previous shade. So now to ensure that the crease shade stands out well, I'm just going to go back in with some of the shade Love Struck and apply some of that and ensure that it blends well with the shades above. Then I'm just gonna repeat the same steps that I did on the left eye onto the right eye. So the first shade, which is Love Struck, then I went into the shade Obsession, and then the last shade I went in with is called Bow Down. And after I applied all of those, just want to ensure that all the shades blend well together. And now moving on to the next palette. This is Juvias Place Warrior 2 palette, and I'm going to be taking the shade Walanza, and I'm going to just apply a bit of that into the crease area just to add some depth. Now moving on to cutting my crease, I'm going to be using the Plouise base in the shade Rumour 2, and I'm going to create a rounded cut crease for this look. And don't forget to use my code, which is curly, which gives you 10% off on the Plouise website. So if you'd like to try the Plouise Rumour bases or the Secret Sinners palette, which I used in this video, I will also be using the Sandwich Stages palette later on too. So if you guys like to try any of the Plouise products off of the Plouise website and you would like, you can use my code for 10% off. Okay, so I'm just repeating the same step on my other eye, just cutting a nice rounded cut crease. And the brush that I use is the Morphe M224 concealer. Now moving into the Plouise Sandwich Stages palette, I'm going to be taking this beautiful yellow gold shade, which is called Snack, and I'm going to be applying that on the inner half of my lid.
Invincible.
Next, I'm going into the Juvias Place Try palette, and I'm going to be taking the shade Curler, which is kind of close to my name, and I'm going to be applying this on the outer half of that cut crease thing. Next, for my eyeliner, I use the Sephora matte liquid eyeliner in shade Black, and this is the best liquid eyeliner. It's matte black and it doesn't crack. So if you guys are looking for a good black eyeliner, I recommend that you all get this one. Okay, so I didn't do a winged eyeliner, so all I did was I went in with a very small blending brush and some black eyeshadow, and I just blended out the outer edges. So now moving on to the glitter part of my eyeshadow, I'm first gonna be applying a glitter adhesive. So this is the City Color glitter adhesive, and this one I like to use when I'm applying fine glitters. So the first glitter I went in with doesn't have a name, but it's basically a holographic. So this is basically a holographic gold glitter, and then the two copper glitters that I use are from the Ambrosia Cosmetics nude glitter stack, and I'm just applying those. So now moving on to applying the chunky glitters, I'm going to be using some clear eyelash glue, because when I use like regular glitter adhesives, they don't hold chunky glitter, so I like to just use some clear eyelash glue. You want to ensure that you're applying a thin layer, because if you apply too much, then your eyelids would be very heavy and you won't be able to move them. Okay, so now going in with the glitters, I'm going to be first going with a holographic chunky glitter into the inner half of my lids, and then for the outer half I'm going to be using a holographic copper glitter. These two glitters are from a brand called Avalon Kiss, which you can find on Instagram. So I just touched up my eyeliner and I highlighted the inner corners of my eyes using the Soft Touch Cosmetics loose pigment in the shade Bridal Gold. Apply some mascara to prepare for my eyelashes. Okay, so now that I have my eyelashes on, I'm going to move on to my face, and the first thing I'm going in with is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm just going to be applying this all over my face. Moving on to my foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Superstay Foundation in shade Mocha. I'm just applying that using a small brush, and then I'm going to go and blend it out using a rounded foundation brush from e.l.f. Cosmetics. Now to highlight my face, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn, and I'm just going to be applying that to the points of my face that I like to highlight, which are under my eyes, at the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and a bit above my lip. So now that I have my concealer blended out, I'm now going to move on to contouring my face, and for that I'm using the Juvias Place shade Sticks in the shade Tunisia and the shade Congo. And also to apply a bit of brightness to my under eyes, I went in with the Plouise base in the shade Rumour 3, and I just blended that out. Now moving on to setting my highlighted areas, I used the LA Girl Pro Matte Face Powder in the shade Toffee, and later on I'm also going to be adding a bit of the RCMA No Color translucent powder. Now moving back to my eyes, I line my waterline using the English Gel eyeliner in the shade number 77. I also applied some of the Plouise Rumour base to my lower lash line so that the eyeshadows I applied there would have something to stick to. And I applied the shades Love Struck and Obsession to blend out that lower lash line. I also applied some of the black eyeshadow from the Juvias Place Warrior 2 palette to smoke out like closer to my lash line area. Next, I just applied some clear lash glue to the inner part of my lower lash line, and then the glitter I'm going to be applying is from Ambrosia Cosmetics in the shade Midas, which is basically a kind of medium-sized chunky holographic glitter. Now moving back to my face, I'm going to be using the colored Raine highlight and blush duo in the shade My Day 1. So I use this for my highlighter as well as my blush. So now to complete this look, I'm going to be moving on to my lips, and I did my lips really simple as usual. So I first started by lining my lips with a dark brown lip liner, and then the lipstick that I used is the colored Raine satin lipstick in the shade Cameo. Now lastly, I applied the colored Raine Pearl Collection lip gloss in the shade Distro, and that will complete this look. I really love how this look came out. I really hope that you guys like it too. If you do, please give me a thumb up, comment down below, subscribe, and subscribe to turn on post notifications so that you won't miss any future videos. Share with your friends and also follow me on Instagram. All links and information will be down in the description box, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.